Hey, everybody. I am here today with my favorite rooster and this guy named Josh, who is a whiskey drinking beach bum, who also happens to be the king of There's Elvis, my rooster, the king of accountability and consistency, I call him. And I just want to talk to him today because I know what I've learned in business here as an entrepreneur is that consistency is going to buy me a lot more than really big home runs. So the singles that I do every single day are going to move my business along a lot further than the home runs. And this is one of the guys who taught me that. And he's got a fascinating life to go along with it. And I know you're going to pick up some gold from him today because nobody talks to him ever without picking up some gold nuggets. So how you doing, Josh?
Oh, man, gold nuggets galore it's going to be today.
Not just in your whiskey glass.
Yes. By the way, it is true. I am drinking whiskey during this interview. That's why I love these later in the day interviews kind of thing. And it's so great to be here. And I apologize in advance because Elvis is like freaking out today, the rooster. So as soon, probably while we're on this call, he'll jump up onto the roof of this porch. And once he does that, he shuts up. So I hope that he does that soon and then we're good to go.
Is that where he sleeps?
Yeah, he sleeps way high up in this tree over here. So he has to go from this wall and fly up to this porch roof, walk across, and then jump into the tree. And once he's there, he's good.
That's it. That is so funny. Well, I'll miss him. I used to have, whenever I talk to you or listen to one of your interviews. So let me talk about consistency. So this guy does a Facebook Live interview every single 6 days of the week, I think, right? 6 days a week?
Monday through Saturday.
Yeah. And what number are you on now, Josh?
Today was 157.
Okay. So king of consistency here is Josh. And what I love about it is he's bringing interesting people to the table, which is actually, I told him earlier, a big part of why I do these Facebook Lives in our group is because that consistency of having something informative and useful as content every single day makes such a difference. Like I'm getting so much more feedback than I used to get. I'm getting so much more engagement than I used to get. Talk to me about like, where did you get this idea and how's the ride been?
The ride it's been one hell of a ride. I don't know if you heard that, but he just jumped up on the roof, so we're good.
And my dog's just started, so we're even.
It's great. You know, the animals in our lives. I had honestly, just as a quick side tangent, while I was on a show the other day, just this 3-foot iguana just jumped off of the roof and just landed right next to me on the while I was on the show.
He was okay or was he dead?
No, they do that. They just jump from these high places and he just jumped off the roof. I don't know how he got up there and then just scurried off and into iguana land. So
oh goodness.
Yeah. So I'll tell you,
your door's closed at night.
As far as the consistency is concerned about the show, the thing that I've learned is that things like that, especially when you're doing a show outside and it's unpredictable and particularly live, the more that you can practice, the better. And for me, the first couple of shows that I did were horrible. Not because the guests were bad, the guests were great. I was really bad. And I knew that I needed to get myself to a position where I felt comfortable talking with folks. I felt comfortable going with the flow of the conversation, actively listening, but at the same time in my mind, deciding where the conversation was going to go and where I was going to take it next. You know, all of these little nuances of things that I never appreciated before. And now I have such a massive appreciation for. I had to do it 6 days a week in order to kind of immerse myself in that world.
I love that. And you can absolutely see it now. I watch almost all of Josh's stuff, whether it's live or later on in the day, just because of the people you get. It's amazing, the content and stuff that you get. But you become a master at it, which is just amazing because you do. I just watch you follow the flow of the conversation and carry it to the points that we really need to get made. And that consistency, how much has that changed anything or everything about either your business or you personally?
It's helped me it's uncovered the things that I wasn't really good at, the things that I would have never really gotten that great of feedback about. It's helped me in that aspect. Like the sooner that I can get that feedback, the better. And I have to say, I do like the fact when I say, yeah, I do this show, and they're like, oh, great, it's a podcast, right? What do? You have a guest a week or something? I'm like, nope, six guests a week. They're like, you're insane. And I like that because I want to be insane, because I want to do things that other people don't necessarily do. It one, it just makes you memorable, but two, I'm accelerating the process. I'm accelerating my getting to know who are essentially my primary customers. All of the people that I have on the show, in some way, shape, or form, are customers of some software that I've created, or potential customers for the software that I've created. And it helps me not only cure an insatiable curiosity that I've had my entire life, just about anything and everything, but it's customer research. It helps me understand what words they use, what they're concerned about, the tidbits of information that if they had to distill all of their expertise of 30 years of doing this or that into a single thing, what would that be? I don't know. I feel like I could do it. I could do it just about every day for the rest of my life and not get tired of it. And it's helped build the brand. It's helped get the message out to people. It's, even if they don't like that day's guest and they just scroll by it's something in their mind. It just registers. Oh, there's Josh doing another one.
Again. Yep.
There he is doing another one. And and it's, see, and like the roosters, they're memorable, and people just message me and they say, hey, this is great. Like, I love that guest. I don't know. I feel like I'm having much more of an impact due to the consistency.
I love it. And that, I mean, there's first of all, tons of gold in that, but folks, what Josh is doing, I mean, despite the fact that he's bringing all of us really engaging stuff, is every day he's doing market research, and he's doing it directly, and he's able to lead the conversation and direct it and learn. First of all, he's fascinating. So sometime, I think actually on a Facebook Live here with us before, you were my only repeat guest, by the way. You're my only two-time guest. But on that first one, we talked a little bit about your sailing experiences. And I mean, Josh is fascinating, and his curiosity is insatiable, which is awesome. It allows you to feed that and fuel that part of it. But along the way, you're a businessman as well, and you're getting marketing research that's basically gold. So let's tell a little story. I met Josh because he posted in a group. I happened to also be in with him. I think it might have been Rob's or Blake's. I can't remember exactly now. I actually keep a diagram of how I met everybody. So you're in there and I have to go look at it. Yeah. I'll show that to you sometime. It's a mind map of everybody I have a meaningful relationship with. I can trace back who introduced me and how far. I do my gratitudes that way. So like if I pick a person out in, way out on this somewhere, like I pick Josh, and then I do my great gratitude for you, and then I'd work back to who introduced me to you, and who introduced me to them, and who introduced me to them, and what happened that I met that person. It's really cool.
That's a great idea.
I use MindMeister for it. It's a lot of fun.
That's great. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, it's fun. But anyway, so some group, Josh basically said, hey, I do a daily Facebook Live. Anybody wants to be on it? I think it was fill out this piece of paper or DM me or something. So I thought, oh, he looks like a cool guy. I'll DM him. And I looked him up, and sure enough, we had some mutual friends. And you mentioned that you had done a couple of these with some people I knew and really respected. And I thought, wow, cool. I hope he says yes. And he did. And we did our Facebook Live together, and we talked about a little bit of finance and overwhelm. But then we got to know each other too. And so he ended up referring me to somebody who is now a client, and I learned about his software. And so down the road a piece, not even immediately then, it was never a sales call or a sales pitch. I think I actually had to ask him what the heck he did other than this. And he said, oh, I have this software thing. And I asked him about it and ended up getting a lot of information. I've bought that software, and that's all now part of this whole relationship, which is kind of cool. So I'm getting more value than I ever would have if you weren't doing this kind of, it's not even outreach, this kind of show. And I want to talk about your software because I love it, because I think it's tied to consistency. So to be consistent, you've got to be accountable every single day for something. And tell me a little bit about it, because guys, this software is amazing. And I want you to hear where it came from. And then I want to give you a couple ideas of how I'm using this thing. And if you're interested, I know we'll get info on how to get in touch with Josh. But how did this thing come about, and what is it?
Okay, so one, thank you, because that's very nice of you to say, and
Awesome.
and two, it came about because my mother is an author, and she needed help consistently writing. She was working on a book of hers, and she was, you know, how writers get, like, she was struggling to find inspiration, and she wasn't writing consistently. And in order to overcome that, to be honest, at the time I was living in New York on a sailboat in the Hudson, and she was calling me just about every day, and we were talking. And not that I don't love talking to my mom, I really do, but it was taking up a lot of time. And I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way, kind of thing. And so I ended up, I come from a mechanical engineering design background. So I was like a mechanical engineering designer for the entertainment industry. I worked with Disney and Universal, and I designed all these things for Cirque du Soleil and stuff. And I'm like, shit, you know, I don't know if I can swear on this or not, if it's okay. Okay. So I was like, shit, you know,
anybody
like,
who's listened to me knows that was mild.
okay, perfect. So I'm like, man, well, if I can do that stuff and build these things, I can certainly build something that can help us both. And so I created this proof of concept idea where I gave my mother consistent daily adaptive accountability from her son, right? And I did it in an automated way, so that I built the thing once, I pressed play, and for 30 days, she got something new and fresh, and it helped her work through all of this stuff day after day. And it worked way better than I could have ever imagined. I thought it was going to be just a little. She crushed it all 30 days.
So it worked better than the actual calls with you, huh?
Yeah, because the actual calls with us would be
You
like
outsourced yourself, dude.
Yeah,
From your mom.
I basically automated the communication with my mother at that point, and it worked so well. I would get feedback from her on a regular basis. I started telling people about this. It started growing. Other authors, other people started using it. I started to get their feedback. Honestly, every single person that went through this system at the very beginning, I got them on Zoom. I interviewed them. I asked them what they liked, what they didn't, and I built all of that feedback into the newest version and the latest release and stuff. And it just got better and better and better and more useful and more robust. And anybody that has built software, if you're out there, or really any solution like that, you know that solving the problem is like 10% of the solution. The other 90% are figuring out all the ways that people can fuck it up and preempting them. And that's really at that stage what I was trying to do. I was figuring, how robust can we make this so that I can literally just set it and forget it, and it can work as if it was live, as if there was a live person with them, in this case, me with my mom, every single day, every step of the way. And this idea just grew. Coaches started seeing what this could do, and they wanted to use it, but yet they didn't want the messaging to be from like Josh, which it all was at the time. So I totally reimagined it. I rebuilt the whole thing. I made it white labelable. And then coaches started to use this for their own people. And I thought, after I had a couple of customers there, I was like, all right, this is going really well. This is working really well. It may take me like 2 weeks to create one course for somebody, but it can be done. And then I just decided to build it from the ground up. So myself and a co-founder, we we built it from the ground up, and now it's its own like software tech platform.
I love it. What I was trying to do was trying to find my cover page, which I should have found before this. But so I use this software, and basically what my poor clients get now is a pan every morning and every night. And I have a very specific, fun sort of, I didn't write any of it, by the way. Josh wrote it all in my voice. That they get encouragement in the morning to set some sort of goal for the day that's tied to a weekly, some sort of weekly objective. And then they get a check-in the evening that says, hey, how'd we do? But it's fun. It's got my image on it. It's got my personality in it. And I don't do anything except hand my coaching clients a link. And the rest just happens. And it's exactly how Josh said it. And it's been really neat because a couple things happen. I'm doing right now an accelerator. And as people are going through it, I'm finding because of this where their issues are, where they're stuck. And that's just invaluable as a course creator. So that when I now create this course to automate it, I know exactly how to cover some of the bases that people are going to get jammed up on. And I can even use this then when people are taking the course instead of live with me, having a way to keep them engaged. Because one of the things, Josh, I know I'm guilty of this, and I don't even know what the numbers are, but I know people buy these things and get 1 or 2 sessions in, and then they're gone. Mm-hmm. And all of us as coaches want people to get in our programs or buy our stuff and go all the way through it. So that's why I love this tool. The difference it could make for a coach in their business, and it's very practically priced for coaches, is just amazing. If you have trouble with getting your people to engage and do what they have to do week over week.
Yeah, that nurturing is so important, that one-on-one nurturing with everybody. And just like you said, to me, the worst thing to do is to, spend a whole bunch of money, get a whole bunch of customers in saying, hey, I've got this course, you got to check it out. Go through it. Only a fraction of them will actually go through it. And then what coaches do is that they, at the end of it, they'll send out a survey and they'll say, how did you like it? What do you remember? Like, what was so good about it? What would you like changed about it? And the problem,
I don't remember what I had for lunch.
Yeah. The problem is that they very rarely remember anything other than the very last thing that happened. And so that feedback is not totally useless, but it's pretty damn useless. Mm-hmm. And so you never know as a course creator how well your people are doing. You don't have the feedback to improve upon it, and you just end up hemorrhaging money, which is what most coaches do. They spend all of their cash trying to get new clients in all the time, and they never retain the ones that they have.
Yeah. And so that's the ROI on this product. Yeah. Number one is it's the testimonials you get out of it because people are engaged. And the second is the retention. If you've got a membership and you're retaining them. And so it's ROI is kind of, it just jumps right out at you. And, I'm high on the ROI thing.
Yeah. Well, you want to,
so cool.
You want to hear some cool, okay. So I just actually worked these numbers out today with one of the clients. She's got about, there's about 300 or so people that she's holding accountable on a daily basis. And we just found out that she does this membership site thing, and the transition from all of the people that were in for the month of January to all of the people that are in for the month of February, of course, there was some churn. There was some people that dropped off. And what I was able to do was isolate the people that dropped off that participated in Fire Builders and the accountability stuff and that didn't. And it turns out that using the Fire Builder software, right, increased her retention by almost 40%.
Wow.
That's just the retention, because people were engaging not every day with her. It's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but they were engaging on a regular basis. And that made a huge difference in the retention numbers. And it saved her a ridiculous amount of money. Had she not used it, she would have had a big drop off, but instead she was able to save those people and keep them in the program and increase their lifetime value. So there is a really very, very direct ROI, like you're saying, with this type of software.
Like I will tell you, Josh, when I work with people who have memberships, we fight to get an extra 1 or 2 points in retention, because an extra 1 or 2 points in retention on a large business, unbelievable what that does to the bottom line, because it falls straight down to the bottom line because there's no additional client acquisition cost with it. You just told me it increases by 40%. So that's massive, folks. If you are running a business that relies on retention at all as one of your key business levers, and you've heard me talk about business levers, retention is one of the biggest key business levers in a membership based or any kind of recurring based model. That's massive. That literally just blew my mind.
Right, and mine too when I saw it today. And also to piggyback on these numbers, right? It was one of the biggest objections that people have when they hear about how this works is
Elvis.
Is the fact that I don't want to bother my people. I don't want to bother them and send them emails all the time and nag them and stuff like that. Well, here's what we're seeing with the data, right? The data suggests that if you were to take, for instance, the health and wellness industry, which is the coach that I mentioned before, that's her industry.
Okay.
Right? Their average open rates of emails are anywhere between 10 and 15%, roughly, right? And then click-through rates hover, depending on the subject, hover anywhere between like 2 and say 5 or 6%, on a really, really good email. And what we're seeing is that sending emails on a daily basis, but having them be specific to that person, it's adaptive and it's showing them their goals and stuff and holding them accountable. Those email open rates are more close to like 70 to 80% on a consistent basis. And the click-through rates are more like 30 to 40%. So not only are you getting more engagement, but people are not just like not opening these emails. They want this communication style. And I think that this will be like the de facto way that coaches hold their people accountable in the next number of years, because it works. It friggin' works.
And it's literally push a button, and it still reflects your personality, and it does the job and helps them more efficiently than you ever could by yourself. So anyway, I didn't actually intend for this to be like a PR thing for this, but this I'm doing this is not because, well, I do care about Josh and his business, but that's not why I'm doing this. I care about coaches out there whose biggest issues are retention and engagement with their audiences. And I have a lot of those clients, and I talk to a lot of you in the group who are really trying to build out those memberships. And this is a tool that is priced for coaches. It's priced for size, folks. So if you have 3 people or you have 300 people, you're in a position to be able to put this in place. And when you forget about, even if it's only as effective as you are, even if it's only as good as you are, it's replacing hours of your time with touch points with your client. And every client is getting a personalized touch point from you in the morning and the afternoon. And I'm not an affiliate for this. Folks, I just really feel strongly that this is a tool that should be out there in the hands of coaches. So anyway, that's my pitch, because I think it's important. But how can people find out more, Josh?
Well, first, you're awesome. I mean,
so is your tool.
Well, thank you. I have to say, it took like 2.5 years to get to this point. It wasn't one of those things where I was just like, dream it up and then build it. It really, I'm so grateful for what you said. And I think that it's just reflective on all of the work that David and I have put in, the MVPs and the talking to people. And for anybody that's listening, like, even if you don't use fire builders, but just know that constantly getting the feedback, the Zoom calls, incorporating that, having a thick enough skin so that somebody can tell you to your face, no, I didn't like it. It's like, okay, tell me why. All right. Mm-hmm. It works. It helps. Mm-hmm. It helps you create a better product, create a better relationship. And I guarantee you that if you build in the feedback to your system and you do that consistently, man, you're gonna build something that's absolutely great.
Mhm.
And so thank you. And how can they get in touch with me? Well, firebuilders.io is the software itself, and that you can always find me personally on Facebook, Josh Koerpel.
On a beach in Key West with a whiskey
Yeah.
in your hand and a rooster.
Yep. I've been doing a lot of work from a hammock tied to two trees in Fort Zachary Taylor on the southern coast of Key West,
Cool.
and on Instagram.
Love it. And another interest of yours is actually photography too. So it's really cool to see your photography. But go ahead. What was your Instagram handle?
It is Saltwater CEO.
Love it. Okay, cool. I will get all that down here in the comments, folks. So any parting words for us, Josh, before we check out and I go get my beer to catch up with your whiskey?
Well, I'll tell you, I would say that honestly, what you said about consistency, what you said about the fact that even if you do something small every single day, it is better than hitting home runs, because it's really, I was just telling, like, everybody is doing this for a reason. They're all in business for a reason. And it's not like once you get to a certain point, you're going to be happy and fulfilled. It's the path, happiness, the path is the happiness. It's not like there isn't a path to happiness. It actually is. And that consistency will really reflect in that. It will reflect. And so the sooner that you can get better at knocking something small out every single day, things get much easier. You're going to see more results. And Pam, just like you said, like it's going to make such a difference in your business. You'll have the momentum. I mean, just like you're doing with these conversations, every time I see this on Facebook, I'm like, yes, because
you inspired it.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, it really is, like, it's really inspiring for me too. Like, you inspire me. Because of course there's times where I don't want to do it. There's times where people, don't want to do it, but you just make yourself do it. And even if you do something really small, I can go to bed feeling satisfied and wake up and still look myself in the mirror.
That's true. And just having the ability to check that off each day, that I did the thing is really, really inspiring. So that is awesome, folks. Consistency, accountability, those are the two topics for this one. Josh, I can't thank you enough. You'll see Josh on Fire Builders Live every single day except
Sunday.
And you'll hear Elvis and meet somebody new and fascinating every single day. So be sure to check that out. You all have a fantastic rest of this Wednesday, it is. And we'll see you around. You guys take care. Thanks, Josh.
See you guys. Thanks, Pam.